If your coneflowers are looking a little tired right now, that's not summer heat. That's your plant about to shut down blooming completely by August. But here's the good news. There are 7 quick things you can do this week that'll keep them blooming strong all the way through fall. And none of them take more than a few minutes. Hey, I'm Backyard Mentor. This is the first video on this channel, and it's built around one idea: a beautiful garden without turning it into a full-time job. No overcomplicating, no wasted weekends, just simple fixes that actually work. If that sounds like your kind of gardening, stick around and consider subscribing so you don't miss what's next. Coneflowers are one of the toughest perennials out there, but even tough plants stall out midsummer if a few small things get ignored. Let's fix that, starting with the biggest mistake almost everyone makes: deadhead the spent blooms. Today, not this weekend. This is the single biggest reason coneflowers stop blooming early, and almost everyone gets it wrong. Once a bloom fades and starts forming a seed head, the plant reads that as job done. It stops making new flowers and starts making seeds instead. If faded blooms sit through July, you're telling the plant to quit early. The fix takes 5 minutes. Snip each faded bloom just above the next leaf set or side bud. Don't save it for a big cleanup day. A quick pass every few days makes the difference. This one habit alone can add 3 to 4 extra weeks of blooms. Want blooms for the birds later? Leave the last round undeadheaded come September. Pattern interrupt cue. Quick zoom or on-screen text #1 mistake to reset attention. Water deep, not often. Coneflowers are drought tolerant once established, but that doesn't mean ignore them completely in peak heat. Watering a little every day only wets the top inch of soil, training roots to stay shallow and weak. Instead, water deeply once or twice a week, soaking down 6-8 inches, then let it dry out between. That builds deep roots that push through August heat without stalling. Morning watering is best. Foliage dries before evening, cutting fungal risk. A 2-inch mulch layer helps lock in that moisture during hot stretches. Ease up on nitrogen fertilizer. Here's something most people don't expect. Your fertilizer might be part of the problem. High nitrogen feed pushes leafy growth over flowers. More green, fewer blooms, right when you need the opposite. Coneflowers are light feeders to begin with. If you're feeding at all, switch to a low nitrogen phosphorus-heavy formula, since phosphorus drives flower and root development. A light compost top dress is often all a healthy plant really needs. Less really is more here. Watch for aster yellows. This one's rarely talked about, but it's a real bloom killer, a disease called aster yellows, spread by leafhoppers. Blooms come in stunted, green, or deformed instead of pink-purple. There's no cure once infected, and it can spread to nearby healthy plants. Pull and destroy infected plants immediately. Don't compost them, and control leafhoppers with a light insecticidal soap if you spot them nearby. Harsh, but it protects the rest of your bed from stalling by August. Curiosity loop, rarely talked about, flags this as new information, resets attention for viewers who might have drifted. Divide overcrowded clumps. Coneflowers left in the same spot, 3+ years without dividing often bloom less, simply from overcrowding. Plants competing for water, nutrients, and airflow. The fix: in early spring or fall, dig up the clump, split it into sections with healthy roots, and replant 18-24 inches apart. If you're seeing overcrowding right now midsummer, it's not a July task. Just note it for fall, so next year's bloom season doesn't hit the same wall. Double-check they're actually in full sun. Coneflowers need 6+ hours of direct sun. If a nearby tree or shrub has grown taller over the past year or two, your full sun spot might not be full sun anymore. This one's sneaky. The plant doesn't die, it just blooms less and less until you barely notice it happening. Watch your bed for a few hours around midday. If shades crept in, trim overhanging branches, or plan to transplant during the next dormant season. Stay ahead of Japanese beetles. Japanese beetles target coneflower blooms and leaves in mid to late summer, skeletonizing foliage and chewing petals right at peak bloom. Heavy infestations, Stress the plant enough to slow new flowers. Check leaf undersides and blooms regularly. Small numbers. Hand pick into soapy water in early morning when they're slow. Bigger populations, insecticidal soap or neem oil. Less pest damage means more energy going toward blooms instead of recovery. So to recap, deadhead regularly, water deep instead of often, ease up on nitrogen, watch for aster yellows, divide overcrowded clumps, double-check your sun, and stay ahead of Japanese beetles. Do even 3 or 4 of these this week, and you'll see the difference. And I'll see you in the next one. Since this is my first video, it'd mean a lot if you subscribed. I've got a lot more of these simple, no-nonsense garden fixes coming. Let me know in the comments which tip surprised you most. I read every single one. Thanks for watching.